This video is for women who are doing well in their lives but are still feeling dissatisfied, unhappy, or exhausted and are looking to reconnect with their feminine energy. Here are the 5 reasons why you don't feel feminine. Reason number 1. You have a father wound. A woman cannot embody her feminine energy unless she feels safe to do so. So if you had a father who made you feel like he could not be relied upon, or you could not trust him, or if he was dishonest, or if he was abusive towards you or your mother, then it is very likely that you developed a father wound in childhood. You decided that you could not trust men, you could not rely on men, you would not trust a man to lead or to take care of you. You felt like men would not take care of you, and so you stepped out of your feminine energy and you learned that you would have to be in your masculine all of the time so that you could keep yourself safe and protect yourself, because you could not rely on a man to do that for you. And you decided that you could not trust the masculine because you did not know the difference between the wounded masculine and a healthy, grounded, and healed masculine. Now, the second reason is that you could have grown up with a mother who was not feminine. It is possible that you had a mother who was constantly in her masculine, whether it was because she had to provide for the family, or maybe she had a traumatic past or some traumatic experience which made her feel that it was not safe for her to be feminine. She felt that she was being taken advantage of when she was being in her feminine, and so growing up you did not know how to express your femininity because you did not have that example to emulate. Or maybe when you did express your femininity, you weren't really encouraged to do so. Reason number 3. Radical feminism and society's idea of a strong modern woman. In today's society, if a woman is constantly embodying her masculine energy and trying to act like men, speak like men, and do everything like men, she is applauded and she is considered the epitome of empowerment. I am nothing against feminism per se. The first wave of feminism was all about equal rights and equal pay, which was amazing, and women really fought hard to get these rights. Equality is when you can be yourself and be treated equally. Women are not men. We cannot defeat men at being men, but why should we have to beat men at being men when we are women? Men and women are equal, but are certainly not identical. And we should not be asked to become identical if we are to have equal rights. Men are not asked to be more like women to have equal rights. Then why should we have to let go of our innate femininity? If men are applauded for being masculine, why should women not be applauded for being feminine? And even if you're not being applauded for being feminine, at least you should not feel guilty in being so. I used to be a radical feminist and I used to absolutely hate men, was so bitter. I used to hate being a woman. Looking back, I remember as a child I was very feminine, but growing up, because of the influence of society and because I was constantly experiencing wounded masculine energy around me, aka toxic masculine energy, so I started believing that all men are toxic, that they cannot be trusted, that they cannot be relied upon, that you should not let them lead you because you cannot trust them to keep you safe. In fact, they make you feel very unsafe. And so I tapped out of my feminine energy, which is ironic because if I hated men, then why should I start embodying my masculine side, right? If I was to hate masculinity. Of course, if you grew up around masculine energy that was wounded and could not be relied upon, then it is only natural for you to want to be absolutely independent and not want to rely on a man for anything and have everything under your control and do everything yourself The sad part is that when we grow up around father figures who are toxic, they, instead of trying to look at themselves and see why we find it hard to trust men and that we want to be absolutely independent, they actually are encouraging of us wanting to be like that, which shows that men in our society seem to not trust themselves to be able to take care of us, to be able to keep us safe, to protect us, to provide for us. Reason number 4, you have a negative relationship with your menstrual cycle. Women are often told that if they are to be treated equal to their male counterparts, then they have to be just as productive as a man is throughout the month. Men and women are very different on a biological level. A man's hormonal cycle lasts 24 hours, which means that every single day they have the same cycle, and so every single day of the month they can actually perform the same way. Women are cyclical beings, which means that our hormones change throughout our cycle. We have 4 seasons in each of our cycle. The menstrual phase is the winter season, the follicular phase is spring, the ovulatory one is summer, and the luteal phase is autumn. Our productivity changes throughout the month, and when we are asked to perform the same way every single day, that means it is very easy for us to exhaust ourselves. We are being asked to beat men or be just as good as men at being men. Please understand that your cycle is not a weakness. It is not something that you should find annoying. It should not feel like it makes you less than a man. It would make you less than a man only at being a man. But realize that you are a woman. We are eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human existence, and I believe that on a high level we chose to be a man or a woman before we came here on this earth. And if you have chosen to be a woman, that means you came here to experience what true womanhood is. Our womb is the seat of creativity. It is where we derive our strength from. And if you continue to act like men and want to be like men, then you will get disconnected from your womb. And if you keep ignoring your womanhood and your femininity and the very fact that you are a cyclical being, it is going to impact your health. This is why women these days are increasingly suffering from conditions like PCOS, endometriosis, and all sorts of problems. Your feminine energy is out of balance. You are not connected to your femininity. You are not connected to your womb. In my teenage years and in my early 20s, I used to hate my period. And that is why I used to suffer from irregular periods and scanty periods. But in the past few years, as I have been embodying my feminine energy and have been loving the fact that I am a cyclical being, I have had regular, healthy cycles every single month. And it is not just about your health, but when you honor every single phase of your cycle, you are naturally more feminine because you feel safe to be feminine and you do not feel guilty when you are not, say, just as productive as you were in your ovulatory phase when you are in your menstrual phase or in your luteal phase. Reason number 5, acting feminine versus being in your feminine energy. Maybe some women think that if they dress feminine and act feminine, then they would be feminine. But it is actually the other way around. It is when you embody your feminine energy that you would naturally act in a feminine way, that you would naturally look more feminine, that you tend to dress more feminine, that you have more feminine mannerisms. The thing is that we have had years of socialization which makes us feel guilty every time we express our softer side, or we feel unsafe when we do so. But at the same time, 90% of women have a feminine core, which means that we want to be taken care of, we want to be adored, we want to be protected, we want to be provided for. And so it is only natural for us to want to express that side through dressing a certain way or maybe behaving a certain way, and there is nothing wrong with that. But you need to know that if you are really interested in tapping into that part of yourself, and I highly recommend that you do so, then you have to go deeper than these surface level things. You have to work with your inner child. You have to address your shadow side. You have to address your wounded feminine energy. You have to learn to trust the masculine. There is nothing more fulfilling and beautiful than flowing with life and embracing your softness and your vulnerability and feeling safe in your body and in your feminine energy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.